Dang, they were not kidding when they said Captain Cultural Appropriation. Hot fucking damn. Hello, interwebs. I hope you are all doing well because I am here to review the latest episode of Peacemaker Season 2, this one, Episode 4. So, not a ton to say about this episode. It was a good one, but it is definitely a moving people into places episode. We got a little bit of action, a little bit of character arc stuff, but for the most part, it's trying to set up our characters to get to the places where James Gunn clearly wants them to be as we go into the back half of the rest of the season. So, I liked it, but wasn't really up there on one of my favorites. I did really love the whole sequence in the SWAT car or whatever, where they're all just sniping at each other. It's just James Gunn's humor, where he just takes it way too literally in just how they snipe at each other, was really, really funny. I also loved when the raid did actually happen. Economos knocks down Captain Cultural Appropriation, which is just what I'm going to call him from now on. And there's that whole bit about, like, cold cuts. If you stayed after the credits, there's an extended sequence of that where Economos is like, you cannot taste all that from his poop. Like, that was a really good, funny bit. And I just like that it's so clear this guy is just like that white savior cultural appropriation dude, where he's just like, yes, we can save this country by killing this one eagle to redo the wrongs of how we've treated indigenous peoples. It's like, no, you're just being weirdly white saviory and culturally appropriative, and it's odd and strange, especially to the point where, like, literally takes his blood and does that, like, spectral, like, projection sort of thing. I don't really know. I don't know if this is an original character. My assumption is, and correct me in the comments if I'm wrong, I feel like this is a character that actually exists in the comics, but was, like, really racially insensitive even when he was written in probably, like, the 60s, 70s, whatever the time it was. And so this is taking that character and sort of doing a commentary on how racially insensitive that was. Or maybe it's just James Gunn doing that stuff. I'd honestly be curious to hear indigenous folks, if any of you are indigenous from any of the First Nations. I would love to hear your thoughts down in the comments about this character, because I think it's kind of plays is kind of funny to me. I could see there being an argument about, like, yes, you're making fun of it, but you're still also doing the thing. Like, you have this white character doing this whole ritual and a spiritual projection sort of thing, which can still be playing with the stereotypes even while you're trying to critique it. But I again, that's, like, not for me I don't really know enough about it. That's sort of my read on it. So I toss it to other people to sort of give their interpretations and thoughts on it. Just my thinking of, like, I could see the criticism going that way if people wanted to. For me, though, I do find it funny, at least on its surface. And it's like a good critique. I also really liked Economos stalling for time. Again, a funny bit. That's a lot of this episode. There's just some funny bits going on here. The fight with Judo Master and Chris was also really good. And the escape and all of that jazz. I do like that we get a scene between Adebayo and Chris after we see they change the transdimensional portal. Which, by the way, really like that we get to see the origins of that, like how they found it with, like, they found it on an imp or whatever, and his dad didn't actually make it. I like the idea that we're showing that the white supremacist actually wasn't just a smart guy. He was an idiot who just stumbled upon stuff and utilized it. Like that as just an idea. But anyways, we get the scene between Adebayo and Chris, where Chris just opens up and tells Adebayo literally everything, right down to the fact that he killed the other Chris. I just really like seeing, like, because that would be so easy to just Chris not open up to anybody, not tell anybody. I really do like seeing over and over again the positive relationship these two characters have with each other, and that Chris is willing to open up to her. I also really like, and it's just worth saying, that Adebayo has her own arc separate from Chris. The whole advertisement thing, and then Chris pointing out, is like, no, this is actually, like, it's a scam magazine. No one really reads it, and are getting upset. Like, it's just nice that they help each other, reinforce each other, and Adebayo is a black queer woman character who is not there simply to be, like, the reinforcement, Chris's emotional conscience or whatever. Like, she has her own shit going on, which is just nice. It's just a nice thing to see. I'm trying to think if there's anything else. I mean, we get Harcourt and Rick Flag Sr. having the moment together, which I liked. Again, it's this moment of, like, showing where Harcourt is and how upset she is and how she's been used, and Waller's, like, just tossing her away in grudge. But how Frank Grillo, he does care for her because she did, like, see his son, but is also still kind of willing to use her to get what he needs to get after Peacemaker. So that was also a really good sequence there. Ultimately, though, that's really about it. I'm glad to, and I said this last week, I'm glad that we're not leaning too much into the bird blindness stuff. I found it funny, but if you overdo it, it does tend to lean into ableism, which is one of the, again, love James Gunn. Think he's one of my favorite filmmakers. So this is just a criticism, not like a condemnation. But ableism is one of the humor points that he tends to lean on sometimes, that I think sometimes goes too far. I think the biggest example of this is just how much humor he gets out of in the Guardians movie of Rocket Raccoon stealing people's legs and stuff. So, like, he's not a perfect filmmaker. I do take issue with some of that stuff, but again, I love him very much. So what I am saying is, like, the bird blindness stuff is funny, and if it's just like just a subtle background beat that we just get reiterations of, like, you know, what's his face calling him parrots or whatever, throughout the rest of the season, I think that's good. I think that's a good level for it to stay at. You got enough out of it, and going too far with it might end up just really leading into ableism. That's really about it, though. I don't have a ton to say about this episode. Again, it's not a bad one. It's just one of those ones that's like moving people from A to B, which is, in a serialized show, is just episodes you get from time to time, but it's not bad. And it gives us a little bit more lore stuff that I found very fascinating, a couple good character beats. And I also like the contrast between Economos and Harcourt. How Harcourt is ending up helping Frank Grillo, where Economos tries to delay them. So you have, like, those characters kind of putting in contrast with each other, which I kind of find fascinating. If you had asked me at the beginning of the season which of these characters I think would have done that, I would have had them pegged as the reverse. So just an interesting subversion there. Anyways, that's everything that I had. What did you think about it? I'd love to hear all your thoughts down below. But beyond all of that, my friends, I hope you live long and prosper.